possible, every conceivable excuse is removed. There is nothing else he can say. Not 5 plays, not one bad half, no Jim Harbaugh, no sign stealer guy, and he still can't get it done. How inadequate is that? I mean, this is like Rafael Palmeiro before he started taking the drugs. Come on, man. I'm just saying. You know, Rafael Palmeiro got a little help for what was going on with him. I don't know what Ryan's going to do. What you going to do, Ryan? See, here's the thing. You lost to a substitute teacher. Now, that should be a very demeaning thing, but it should be a lesson in it too. Because see, Sharon, and I love Sharon, but let's look at what Sharon did versus what Ryan Day did. Both of them are substitute teachers. See, now Sharon went in, Jim Harbaugh gave him the syllabus, and he followed it. He didn't make it about him. He didn't go and try to reinvent the wheel. But Ryan Day, on the other hand, substitute teacher in an AP class, decides he's going to go in and do it a different way. See, now Urban Meyer has given you the script. All you got to do is follow it. But no, Ryan, you got to go do it your way. Your way got your ass kicked. See, now here's the thing. If you're a valet driver, blow up down. Now we need to keep this man. We need to keep this man in blow up. We need to keep him away from real women. So I propose that we put together a GoFundMe for blow up dials for Zach Smith, because we know if this man has blow up dials, he can't be messing with real women. We'll even get him some purple markers so he can color some bruises on him, and he'll really feel good, because that's how Zach Smith gets down. We know that about Zach Smith, right? So listen, folks. Enjoy this time. Enjoy the fact that Ohio State is inadequate. Now, I actually hope, for the sake of Ohio State, because I care about the Buckeyes, I actually hope that you go out and find a coach that can actually get it done. Because if he can't win without Jim Harbaugh, without the sign stealer guy, without Chris Partridge, without the one bad half and the 5 bad plays, he ain't never going to get. Maybe next year they'll suspend Sharon and Jesse Minter. Then he'll have a better chance of getting the job done, right? We know that about Ryan Day. But absent that, he cannot do it. So, Buckeyes, we're going to try to help y'all out. We're going to try to get y'all. Maybe Urban could come back. It might happen. I understand Miz is giving me the sign, kind of making it seem like I got to get to a break. Hey, everybody, you understand how they changing things around now? They trying to talk about how Ohio State, you shouldn't take a one-loss Ohio State team out. Wasn't it just yesterday where they were talking about how Michigan isn't really that good, how Michigan really, the only reason why they are where they are was because they were cheating? Well, they just lost to the team that they said was cheating. They still want to put them in the playoffs. You see what they do? You see how they flip it around? So listen, Michigan fans, it is us against everybody. I was saying it before it was a shirt. Get on out there, defend your team, defend your coach, stand up for the maize and blue, and let them know everything they tried didn't work. We've been mopping up every ass that's in our way. You put an ass in front of us, we kick it. That's what we do. We in the ass-kicking business. So you want to put Iowa up next, we're going to take care of them too. I just wish Cade McNamara was out there so he could get his ass kicked on top of it. I feel so good. I feel so good for J.J. McCarthy right now. I'm sorry.
Mrs. Clarke in the house.
I'm sorry Iowa is catching strays. I don't mean to take shots at Iowa. I'm taking a shot at Cade McNamara right now. Because you understand, I'm going to tell y'all some truth right now about how much J.J. McCarthy has been through. So J.J. McCarthy comes to town. J.J. McCarthy is the quarterback for an aspiring quarterback for the Maize and Blue. I'm not telling you anything that you haven't read on Fox Sports. The Fox Sports story said he got to town and he asked J.J. McCarthy, he asked Cade McNamara, can you help me out? I just want to learn from you. I want to learn from a guy who's done it. What did the story say? The story said he ghosted. He ghosted number 9. He wouldn't help him. He wouldn't speak to him at all. And now you fast forward down the line, it's all kind of negative talk about JJ in the quarterback circles. And I know he's not talking about it. I talk about it. And the root cause of it was Cade McNamara's guy. He's the main one out there spreading it. You think I'm making this up? Go ask Devin Gardner. All the stuff that his people were putting out there about J.J. McCarthy. And he has never said a word about it, doesn't comment on it, doesn't react to it, but it certainly sets up for an opportunity to go out and serve out some act right. It's just unfortunate that Cade won't be in the game so he can suffer the consequences of his guy going out there and talking all that smack. So if it sounds like I'm feeling a certain type of way about it, I am. All this is pissing me off. Danny Cannell, did you hear what Danny Cannell said last week? Danny Cannell gave you this buffoon-ass tape talking about how, hey, did you see how J.J. McCarthy went out there and he can't do anything now that he doesn't have the signs? You see what happened the last 2 weeks. Now, the last 2 weeks happened to be against Maryland when he was banged up and against Penn State when they couldn't block a soul, so they decided to run the football. But it was 2 games before that went pretty well. I seem to remember that against Michigan State, they didn't have their coach or the signs, and against Purdue, they didn't have the coach or the signs. But, we forget about that. And he mentioned the TCU game. In the TCU game, the man had 350 yards passing, right? He threw 2 pick sixes and still had a chance to win the game. And the reason for the pick sixes had nothing to do with signs, Danny. I mean, you're a quarterback. You're supposed to know better. You're not supposed to sound like a fan, and a dumbass fan at that. You're supposed to sound like a guy who knows what he's talking about. You're supposed to sound like a guy who's been there before. But you don't sound like that right now. You sound like a dumbass fan. That's what you sound like, because if you watch the game, you would have seen that J.J. McCarthy, the first interception he threw, had to do with bad footwork. The second interception he threw had to do with coaching malpractice because the coach called a play that he didn't like in practice, and he called it in the game anyway. So if you want to learn something, watch me. And then I'll tell you what to think and what to say. Then you can go out there and say it instead of parroting what your man Jordan Palmer told you to say. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to give it to you every time. All you got to do is tune in. I go live at 5 every day. So listen, folks, we're going to keep coming. I'm going to take a little drink because I'm starting to lose my voice, and I got to keep it for the week. There we go. Thank you very much.
Sam Webb, ladies and gentlemen, live at Oscar Sports and Grill here following the Wolverines' 30-24 victory. The Michigan Wolverines heading back to Indianapolis. Sam, I know you're not done.
That's right.
But before you get back on the roll, I just want to ask you one question. Michigan winning today means you know where you're going to be next Saturday.
I'm going to be at the Slippery Noodle, baby. I'm going to be at the Slippery Noodle. I want y'all to all come out. You know who's not going to be there? Ohio State. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. See, all these people, they were talking. You don't understand how bad they were talking about me. I mean, they started talking about my wife. Now, do you understand that the Buckeyes started talking about my wife? Now, part of me wishes, as much as I love Michigan fans, I love my Michigan people. I even had a Michigan fan go make a shirt say Sam Webb versus everybody. It warmed my heart to see that shirt. But part of me wishes that I had Ohio State fans as my primary fan base. Now, stay with me for a second. Here's why. Because they dumb as hell. And if you have a dumb as hell fan base, you can tell them anything and they will buy it. Because that's what's going on with Ohio State right now. Because this article over on the Ozone said, oh, yeah, well, Sam Webb's wife works for Jim Harbaugh, and he can't say what he wants to say because if he says what he wants to say, then Jim Harbaugh is going to fire his wife. Now, they believe that dumb mess, and their users, their writers actually know that. They actually know that their users are not that bright. Now, I'm going to give you a little more credit because, see, I got a conscience. I can't take advantage of people who aren't that bright. I'm going to tell you the truth anyway, right? I'm going to tell you my wife doesn't work for Jim Harbaugh, but Jim Harbaugh did laugh at the notion. He thought that was pretty funny that people thought my wife worked for him. I can actually show you the text if you want to see it. Now, here's the thing, though. Jim, if you want to hire my wife, she said, come on. Hey, just give me a raise. My wife will come work for you tomorrow. We'll make that happen. We doing job in it. I'm trying to get my wife a job with Jim Harbaugh. Let's go, Jim. Because you know what I heard? I heard Jim Harbaugh's not going anywhere, folks. I heard Jim Harbaugh going to be here for the long haul. I heard Jim Harbaugh about to sign an extension, folks. So listen, you should be excited. You should be fired up. I am not done by a long shot. I just need to take a break so I can take a drink. Let me take a break so I can take a drink. And then my man Ira Weintraub will bring it back. We'll talk some more football. I'm going to give you some real facts about the game. I'm not just up here with bluster and bellicose. I'm not a bellicose guy all the time, just right now, right? So I'm going to give you some actual football stuff when we come back. Thanks a lot for the Hop Slam. I don't know if I'm supposed to be drinking this on air, but I'm going to drink it anyway.
Go right ahead, Sam. And while you do that, I remind everybody you're listening to the Retirement Income Solutions Locker Room Wrap-Up Show at RIS. They have 3 core values that guide every decision every day for every client: integrity, honesty, and hard work. That's Retirement Income Solutions. And we are live at Oscar Sports and Grill celebrating another Big Ten East Championship, another trip coming for the Wolverines down to Indianapolis next Saturday. Michigan beats Ohio State 30-24, 12-0 now on the season. More with Sam on the other side here live at Oscars and on Sports Talk 1050 WTK, the ticket.
Clear on radio.
And I'm appreciating the hop
Thank you,
slam.
Miz.
Yep. And
I
I
actually
believe
take hop slam gifts.
I think people are able to still hear us on screen. I hope.
They said go slow with the hop slam. I'm gonna go slow with the hop slam, easy. I'm gonna go slow with it. I'm only gonna do one. Only gonna do one. Can I get an endorsement hop slam? Bells? Can we do that? Sharon for Big Ten Coach of the Year. I'm actually with that. Sharon has outcoached the other candidates.
I think
for Big Ten
at
Coach
this
of the Year.
stage hasn't he locked up the Broyles?
I mean, I'm just saying. Who has done a better job as an assistant?
Braun. No, head coach.
Oh,
Braun. No,
come
Braun
on,
will get Big Ten coach. He took over Northwestern, who's supposed to go over, and he won.
But this one won a Big Ten. He's basically about to win the Big Ten championship. Let's go. Come on, man.
He'll win, I think he'll win the Broyles, but I think that Braun's going to win Big Ten Coach of the Year.
All right. I appreciate all you people. I appreciate you coming in the stream. See, we gotta serve some act right to these Buckeyes out here because they're in their feeling. There we go. There we go, Chad. There we go. These Buckeyes have been talking real cross these days, up to and including old Zach Smith. Now, Zach Smith is kind of like my concubine if you think about it, because he basically he's out there getting me new customers. He's out there giving me new people subscribing to watching my videos and commenting on my videos and going in my Twitter. I actually don't mind. I would appreciate it. Thank you for all the service that I'm doing to you, Zach. I don't mind. I understand your videos weren't doing anything until you start talking about me, which is cool. I'm good with that. I'm good. I just want a piece. Just give me my cut, or at least keep sending your people over my way. That's all I'm saying.
All right, so Sam, we have one segment left on radio. This is what we're going to do. Only the segment left is the key players of the game. So We're just going to talk about everybody if you want. We'll go through it. We'll start with Sharon and work our way down. But key players of the game, we'll shout everybody out that you want. Why not?
Hey, what do we think is on Zach Smith's Amazon order list? I got some guesses.
But may I recommend for everybody, turn your phones off first, because otherwise you're going to get some really bad Facebook ads. If you answer that question, your Facebook ads are going to get really creepy.
Man, it is great to be a Michigan Wolverine, isn't it, people? Don't you love being a Michigan Wolverine? Aren't you enjoying the fact that you serving all these Buckeyes some act right? Aren't you enjoying the fact that even without your head coach, even without Chris Partridge out there, who is my man, and it's unfortunate that it worked out the way that it did, but this team, the way they responded to adversity, they went out there and got it done. Despite all of that, they went out there and still got it done. I mean, in the face of all of these excuses that were eliminated, right, from these other teams. And by the way, other teams, and see, this is going to be one of the most sweet things. So they might not be able to get any act right, serve any act right to Cade McNamara, but you can serve it to Tony Petitti. Because, see, Michigan wins that Big Ten championship, and Tony Petitti has to come hand over the trophy and has to reach out his hand and shake it. And, yeah, I'm pretty sure there are going to be some people that tell him to kiss my ass. I'm pretty sure that some of them are going to say that to Tony Petitti when he goes out there and does it, right? So I'm with it. All the smoke that has been coming Michigan's way has made me bitter towards the Big Ten. And if you're feeling bitter towards the Big Ten, I don't blame you. You should feel bitter towards the Big Ten because all these teams that are riding on Michigan's coattails seem to forget their place. You are guests at the steakhouse. You didn't get the table. You sitting at Michigan's table. And now you want to try to dictate? You wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for Michigan. You certainly wouldn't be able to afford the meal. I'm sorry. We got to go back home.
Folks, we're coming back on radios.
And we are back on the Retirement Income Solutions Locker Room Wrap-Up Show. Sports Talk 1050, WTK, the ticket online at WTK.com and on Ticket TV, live from Oscars in Saline. We're having a great time. You know it's a big win when Sam comes down to celebrate.
That's right.
Sam, so you know what happens after the show when we win, right? You know what happens here?
What happens after the show?
Shots.
Shots. I don't know if I can do shots on
Oh no,
top of the
you
hot
don't.
strand, man.
You're here for the end of the post game. You don't have a
See?
choice.
So now,
Ask Jamie, ask
understand.
Chad, ask Steve,
My
ask
wife-
Greg. You won't have a choice.
Yeah, my wife was very, very pointed. Like she came over here and she stayed because she said, you cannot get fired. Now, if Jim Harbaugh gives my wife a job,
Hey,
I can get
don't
fired.
don't worry,
So,
Mrs.
Jim,
Webb. He will not get fired.
Jim,
I am
Jim,
totally under control.
Jim, if you're watching, Jim, if you want to give my wife a job, we can work this out, man. I'm just saying. Let's make it happen, Jim.
All right, so Sam, let's do our key players of the game segment here. A lot of guys to talk about. Let's start. How about start on special teams real quick? Because all season long, we weren't sure about James Turner. We knew he could kick. We saw a few times, but he got some reps throughout the year, and then he had 3 huge kicks today. And of course, Tommy Doman with more punts inside the one down to the 2. He had a 71-yarder in the game. The special teams guys, the hidden yardage, the points you get out of that. So we're going to start real quickly with special teams because you got to shout those guys out before we get Sam all wound up again.
Tommy Doman has become a weapon. You know, if it was just one game that we were talking about Tommy Doman, it's an anomaly. But that punt he made, he did last week where he pinned him at the 1-yard line, that is an immediate precursor to a safety. And so this week, though, the punt that he made to pin him, Ira, that is a game-changing moment. I mean, because you think about the momentum that Ohio State at that point in time. I mean, it's an opportunity for them to really seize the momentum, and the punt completely changes their point of view, their mindset as far as the drive is concerned. It was absolutely huge.
Yeah, the special teams came up huge for Michigan. We knew you played 9 games out of the season where you're not going to have this even really come into play, where maybe you'll make some kicks, but they're not going to be in big clutch moments. Big clutch moments, and the special teams came through. All right, Sam, we're going to go offense, then defense, because obviously the game was won at the end by the defense with that big play. But let's start on the offensive side of the ball. And we always talk about Blake Corum, JJ, but just why don't you just assess what you saw out of the offense? And obviously Blake Corum, 2 more touchdowns. He is just a touchdown machine.
So I got to start off talking about Sharon Moore, because see, Sharon was catching a lot of flat for last week's game plan when it was both game plans the last couple of weeks were reactions in the moment. The game plan versus Penn State was a reaction to the fact that they could not block them when it was a third and obvious situation. And so what do? This man sat there and figured out when he just found out the game he wasn't going to have his coach. So let me be clear. I said this in the earlier session. They practiced all week like Jim Harbaugh was going to be there. It wasn't until an hour before the game that they knew for sure that he wasn't going to be there, right? And so now you're in it. Now it's on you to react in the moment while your team is kind of off put by the circumstance. They're all thinking their coach is going to be there, and he's not. Now, fortunately, you coach against James Franklin, and James Franklin is going to do James Franklin stuff, right? But he realized in the moment, well, all of this preparation that Manny Diaz and the Penn State defense they've done here has been to get after J.J. McCarthy. Whether it's their blitz package or their spy package, it leaves openings to run the football. And so he makes a real live battlefield decision. We're going to run the football, and we're especially going to run it off schedule. 3rd and long, that's when it's really going to hit. 3rd and 10, J.J. McCarthy, pin and pull. 3rd and 8, screen, which is basically a stretch play to Samaj Morgan. 3rd and 11 on the next drive, open zone to Donovan Edwards for a touchdown. These are outstanding calls, in-game moments where you're out-coaching a seasoned coach. Then you go the next week, and you are determined to make this be a more quarterback-dependent game. But guess what? Your quarterback is banged up. How much did your quarterback actually practice during the week? Ask yourself that. Just use a little deductive reasoning. How much do you think, coming off the Penn State game, J.J. McCarthy practiced for the Maryland game? Now, you may not know the answer, but you know how J.J. performed in the game. You saw him missing reads that J.J. McCarthy doesn't miss. Very first play was a RPO that he missed. Second series of the game, he throws it to Roman and leaves the safety to him. That's not a J.J. McCarthy play. The next play was a post cut that he missed. Does that sound like J.J. McCarthy to you? It shouldn't. You know why? Because that's not a J.J. McCarthy type of game. not when a J.J. McCarthy is practicing all week long for the game. So you had a coach reacting in the moment to that. All of that being said, it demanded a game plan that had building balance into it as part of the equation. That means that you were going to have to game plan some rhythm. So how did they come out? They came out throwing the football. Some really quick, short throws built to give your quarterback rhythm, and he bounced them. They were bad balls. Wait, the first one he bounced. The second one, it was a bubble. He threw it behind Donovan, and it dragged him back. They couldn't get the first down. This is where your coordinator has to be committed. He has to be determined. He has to stick to the game plan. He has to say, I got to get my quarterback in rhythm because I'm going to need him to make throws, especially if he's not running the football. And think about this. Did you see one called run for J.J. McCarthy in the game? You didn't, did you? There's a reason for that. They knew we can't use this man up like that. He's going to get enough runs improv-wise where that's going to factor into the equation, but we cannot call design runs for JJ in this game. It was off the table. Everything you need to know, I haven't been told that, but you know that based on the fact that they put Alex Orji in the game to run that quarterback counter, right? Because JJ can run that play. JJ scored a touchdown on that play against TCU. So that's why he didn't run it. So you build all of that into Sharon Moore in this game, getting his quarterback in rhythm, not being impatient with the run, and balancing it out in a way that was effective and maximizing your advantages with matchups. Said before the game, there were a couple of matchups that would not hold for Ohio State. I mentioned 3 players. I mentioned Donovan Edwards in the pass game. He wound up coming up throwing a pass. I mentioned Colston Loveland and A.J. Barner. Go back and check the tape. I said, these are guys that Ohio State cannot match up with. And how did it work out in the game? Did you see Ohio State match up with any of those guys? Did you see the big plays that Colston Loveland made? Did you see the big conversion on the wide delay to A.J. Barner? Did you see the big running back pass that Donovan Edwards threw? These were the players. I can't even pick one. I guess if I had to pick one, I'd say Colston. But all those guys wound up being pivotal because this is a coach looking at his best matchups and saying, we have to exploit that. Meanwhile, look at Ryan Day. Yeah, they went to Marvin Harrison. He made some unbelievable plays. But did you feel like they exploited him? What about when Will Johnson went out for basically the last quarter? Did you feel like Marvin Harrison was more of a factor in the game at that point? See, this is what good coaches do. This is what Broyles Award coaches do. This is what, I think Sharon Moore at this point, who's the Big Ten Coach of the Year? Who would you pick right now as Big Ten Coach of the Year? Who went on the road and beat James Franklin? Who beat Ohio State with his quarterback banged up and his head coach out for that game too? That sounds like the Coach of the Year to me. So if I got to choose a player of the game, I'm going with a coach, and I'm going with Sharon Moore.
All right, Sam. Great stuff there on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, man, Junior Colson with 11 tackles to lead the way. But this defense that we've talked so much about is true. A lot of different guys making plays, but it started early with the Will Johnson INT to start the game, and then the Rod Moore INT to end the game. Some pressures in there. A lot of different guys making plays. Quentin Johnson with a huge hit. Mikey Sainristil doing his things. And to limit Ohio State to what they did. And as you said, Marvin Harrison had 5 catches on 9 targets at 119-ish, whatever the number is.
Yeah, man.
But he, outside of the 1 touchdown and maybe 1 or 2 first down grabs, he didn't have the impactful plays. So why don't you talk about what you saw on the defense and your first reaction?
I just don't understand how you as a coach, how you have a talent like that and he doesn't have 20 targets in the game. I mean, I'm throwing it up to him that many times. And that's actually in his DNA. This tells you that Ryan Day has multiple personality disorder. The man doesn't know who he is, right? First, he wants to be basketball on grass. Then he thinks he got to be a smash mouth guy. He doesn't know how to be a smash mouth guy. Urban gives him the script for the first part of the game last year. He runs the script. Then when the script runs out, he doesn't know what to do. He reverts to form and he loses the game. Now in the offseason, he realized he doesn't have a quarterback that can do what the other quarterbacks did. He said, oh, now I got to change again. And still got his ass kicked. Man doesn't know what he's doing. You got Marvin Harrison, the best receiver in the country.
Maserati Marv.
And their best defensive back is out the last quarter of the game. And he wasn't more of a factor in the last quarter than he was in the first three. That's coaching malpractice if I ever seen it. Which I'm glad it was coaching malpractice. But if I got to choose a play, because there were so many big plays, but the game-changing play, the biggest play of the game, in my opinion, was the pick by Will Johnson. It was phenomenal. It was an RPO, a split-stretch RPO that he jumped. He read it like the pass was meant for him. This is a man that read his keys. This is a man that read the play. This is a man that studied tape, and this is a man that was ready for the moment. So I got to put on, Will2J.com, Will2J.com. You can go ahead and get the buffs, folks. Go ahead and support Will Johnson because that young fella, he got banged up in practice this week. So I'm going to give you a little inside intel. Will Johnson got banged up in practice on Tuesday and played this game like a baller. Right, and aggravated that injury in the fourth quarter of this game, and his teammates were still able to pick him up. Mikey St. Risto moving out the corner, you wouldn't even know it, right? But the biggest play of the game was Will Johnson on that pick. It was outstanding. You had some big-time tackles, some big-time sticks. The big stick by Mike St. Risto was huge in this game. It was a total team defense. But if I have to pick out a player, I'm going to pick out Will Johnson in that play. You think about it, the catches that Marvin Harrison made, two of them were unbelievable. The one fade ball that he caught where it's over his head and he has to look. You know how hard it is? And do you know how hard it is when the ball is thrown over your head and you're looking one way and you got to locate it the other way? Do you know how hard that is? It was an unbelievable catch. And then the one that he caught where he got interfered with, where he caught it with one hand, what happened on that play? You couldn't necessarily see it on film. Michigan was in cover 6. They were in cover 6. They were in quarter, half. And it was incumbent. This is one of the faux pas by Will Johnson. Will was supposed to redirect number 18. And he didn't get hands on number 18. Like he wasn't in man-to-man coverage like some Buckeyes were saying. Like he just got beat. That's not what happened. It was cover 6. He was supposed to redirect number 18, hinder him a bit, allow his help to get there, but you gave number 18 a free release. Now you're running to try to catch up, and he did, and he made the smart play to try to interfere with the man, and the man still caught the ball. That, if I'm Ryan Day, I'm saying, I got to throw this man the ball 20 times after that. Fortunately, he's not that bright. He takes after his fans, right? The tail is wagging the dog down in Columbus because he didn't understand that I got a boss out here, and I should use him more than I'm using him right now. And fortunately for Michigan, they were going against James Franklin Jr. So I appreciate that. I said last week that Penn State was losing money, that Penn State was paying Chris Dow prices for a Boone's Farm coach. Ohio State in far behind. They're paying Chris Dow prices for a Mad Dog 2020 coach, folks. I'm just saying they still losing money. They still wasting money. And the Wolverines, when you think about the price they're paying for their coaches, I think it's a discount. See, Jim, you see how I'm working for you? You see how I'm telling Ward he's giving.
But you just said earlier that your wife does not work for Jim. What are you doing here?
So what I'm saying is if Jim gets a raise, maybe he can hire my wife and give her a raise. You see how that works? You see how that works?
You're working the game.
That's right. I'm working the game. Will Johnson, defensive player of the game.
The key players of the game. We still have more of the Retirement Income Solutions Locker Room Wrap-Up Show on the other side of the break. We are live at Oscars in Saline, celebrating Michigan's 30-24 win over Ohio State. And coming up next for Michigan, another trip to the Big Ten Championship game down in Indianapolis. We'll be back on the other side of the break with more of the Retirement Income Solutions Locker Room Wrap-Up Show here on Sports Talk 1050 WTK, The Ticket.
Be audible so the people can hear me. That's why, Barry, if I'm bothering you, Barry, you can watch this on replay and you can turn it down. You don't have to watch it live. That's the great thing about Facebook. I'm just saying. No, I'm not
Snapped it behind
nervous.
his leg. Yeah.
Hey, see, now this is the man that keeps me right. My man, Ken Shana, keeps me right. Let me give a shout out to Ken Shana. This is my accountant, folks.
Everybody
keeps
needs
me
a good
right.
accountant.
That is right. Everybody needs a good accountant, and I keep this man busy. Hey, just so the Buckeyes know, hey, the Buckeyes say Sam doesn't make any money. I want them to keep thinking that. Maybe they'll keep paying me if they think that, right? But my man Ken is taking care of me. I appreciate you, Ken. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I know. Yep. Sam, this coming up is our final segment
Let's
on
go.
the radio. And for those that aren't paying attention, this Auburn-Alabama game is quite fascinating. With Auburn up 24-20 with 43 seconds to go.
Oh,
and they're about to
wow.
call an illegal pass down the field by Alabama. And we're going to see what the next step is. After it was Alabama had a ball like snapped through their legs on 2nd and goal. Yeah, and right, there's a penalty. He crossed the line of scrimmage on the throw. He did go back. So can you can't cross the line? Of course you can't. Yeah, last week. Everybody that's watching, everybody listening, well, everybody's listening is a commercial break. Everybody that's watching, thank you for joining us today, tonight, all season long. We're not done yet. I can all the stuff that I've been waiting to do that I'm like, can I put another week worth of scheduling and another week's worth of it? Now I can go in and do all that stuff. And by the way, Sam, by the way, I just want to let you know, it has been 1,456 days.
I love it.
And counting.
I love it.
Since Ohio State last beat Michigan.
I
football
love
tournament.
it.
And counting for 300 and a lot of days.
How is Bama losing? How is Bama losing to Auburn right now? This is unbelievable.
Which means New Mexico State is better than Alabama. Transitive properties of football.
This is unbelievable, folks.
Which does not exist, but I'll make it exist in this moment.
Here's what I know. Hop Slam gets you right. I do know that. Fortunately, this is the last segment, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this.
See, Sam, you've never really had the opportunity. What we do here, you'll hear the music in a moment. Actually, yeah, you'll hear the music in a moment. The stream won't hear the music, Ms. The stream won't hear the music, but we should hear the music, right, Ms.?
And for wondering if those on stream, yes, you'll be able to hear it.
Okay, there you go. And then you hear the music, you understand why we then have drinks after the game's over. But I used to have the shots to drown our sorrows.
That
was about 12. That was about 12 years worth. Standing by. Hashtag no Bucknut November.
Oh my God, it's unbelievable.
Kind of want to go and unmute all the people I've muted for 2
time.
months to unmute them just to read their comments.
There's never been a better time to be a Wolverine. I'm gonna read a part of a text.
We'll get there
when we get back.
The Welshes, by the way, Madison and the Welshes, Madison and Brian, were she's like, even though we have differences, Sam is epic tonight. This song, this is our celebration song because after every Michigan football game, we have a shot at tequila to celebrate. That's what we do now. Previous years, we were drowning our sorrows, but now we are celebrating third straight victory of Ohio State, a third straight trip to Indianapolis, and then what goes on after that. It's been a really fun edition of the Retirement Income Solutions Locker Room Wrap-Up Show. That's the final regular season edition of this show and our final episode from here at Oscars this season. Oscar been a great host all season long. It's been so much fun here on the show, on the ticket. The final score of today's edition of the game, Michigan 30, Ohio State 24. And Sam, you're not quite done yet, so we got one more to do. Share away.
This was the text from Devin. He said, "You're crazy, Devin. You know I love you, brother. You know I love you. I'm just Devin. I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for all the people who can't do it. See, Charles can't do this, and Desmond can't do this, and I know you can't do this. I'm doing it for my guys.
That's
right?
what's up.
I'm standing up. Bama, did Bama come back? Oh my gosh. Nick Saban said, not yet. Not yet. I'm not ready to go down. But let me read to you. I can't tell you who this is from, but this is from a member of the 97 championship team. Now, the significance of this text, and we got to get ready to get out of here, I know. So let me find it real quick. I know
on
this
Sports
is
Talk
live radio.
1050 WTKA Ann Arbor, a Cumulus station.
Yeah, it is a Cumulus station. So this is from a member of the 97 championship team. I won't read the whole text. I'll just read the first couple of sentences, okay? From a member of the 97 championship team. In my opinion, this is the best football team in Michigan's history. This is from a member of the 97 team, all right? Their mental and emotional fortitude allowed them to navigate through situations that no other team in the country had to navigate through. Do you understand how momentous that is to hear that from a member of the team that won the title? A member of the team, a member of Michigan's history that had Charles Woodson on it. They had Charles Woodson on their team. And he's saying that this is the best Michigan team he's ever seen. Enjoy that, people. Celebrate that, people. Don't let them diminish, demean, impugn, hinder, hate on, disparage in any way your team. You deserve this. This is your squad. For what they overcame, don't think your support didn't help that. Your support helped that a lot. Because I know, hey, listen, you might feel like you can fight every battle. I might feel like I can fight every Buckeye, right? I fight Buckeyes every day. But when you have people who have your back, when they say, man, I got your back. When my man got on Twitter the other day and said Sam Webb versus everybody, you know that made me want to fight harder. You know that made me say, oh man, I got some more for the Buckeyes. So the same thing with this team. When you back up Jim and when you back up JJ and when you back up Sharon, that means something. That helps these guys. That helps carry them. So don't think it means nothing when you're on Twitter and you're arguing with the Buckeyes, when you're at the water cooler and you're getting back at the Spartans, and when you're telling all of these other off-brand teams in the Big Ten, know your place. All y'all in the Big Ten, all y'all are on timeshare. See, it's two mansions in the Big Ten. It's Michigan and Ohio State. The rest of y'all timeshare, meaning you can be replaced. And if you got a problem with that, then Michigan can go someplace else and then see how you do. So stand up with pride. Wear your maize and blue. Wear your block M. Somebody come in your face, tell them go blue and kiss my ass. Tell them that. And tell them we still coming. Tell them we still here. Tell them Michigan is coming for the title this time. And now what you gonna do, right? Now what you gonna say? You can say it wasn't good. You can say they cheated. And I'm going to say I still got that title, baby. That's right. So, again, understand, folks, they aren't done hating. They just going to keep moving the finish line. They're going to keep saying, Ohio State, well, you know what? It was on the road. They only lost this time by 6 points. Like, that's an accomplishment. I guess, Ira, when you look at it this way, they lost by less. So maybe it really was the signs. Maybe the Buckeyes have a point. They took the sides away and Michigan kicked their ass a little softer. I'm just saying, Ira, right?
Sam, it's been a lot of fun. We've had a great season here at Oscars. We've had a lot of fun, and the season isn't over yet. Next week, we will be in Indianapolis. I want to thank everyone who helped out today, especially our guy Miz, our game day MVP back inside the WTK studios. Coming up tomorrow at 10 a.m., speaking of Miz, it's Miz and the crew on the playground. Then on Monday, it's Michigan Monday on the Michigan Insider, and another game week for our Michigan Wolverines. So we'll have plays of the game and players of the game. Joe Simon's final verdict, the monster moment of the game with Monster Tree Service, Will Heinecker, the mayor of Michigan, Twitter, Scott Bell, Monday morning quarterback Devin Gardner, and more coming up on Monday.
Hey, folks, not people here at Oscars, but if you're out somewhere, pour out a little liquor for Ryan Day. We used to pour out a little liquor for people who are deceased, who people are no longer with us. Pour out a little liquor for Ryan Day, folks. Help him out. We're going to remember him. Ryan, it was okay. We enjoyed it. And toast them up to the Wolverines, folks. We appreciate it. We love our amazing blue, and we'll see you on Monday.
We'll see you Monday, and then we will see you next Saturday in Indianapolis and at the Slippery Noodle Inn. And by the way, cannot wait to see Tony Petitti the Clown have to hand a championship trophy to our head football coach, Jim Harbaugh, who will be back on the sidelines next Saturday night. Once again, the final score of today's edition of the game, Michigan 30, Ohio State 24, the Wolverines 12-0. Thanks to Miz. Enjoy the hockey game that we're late getting to. Enjoy the rest of your football weekend, everybody. See you on the radio Monday morning. We'll see you at the Noodle. And as always, go Blue! That's right.